What is going on, everybody? I have lost. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I've lost all of my audio.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So I'm gonna
You
just
hear
start
me
this.
at least?
I can hear. No, I cannot. Well, I mean, I can barely hear you faintly. But welcome everybody into the Hump Day Hotline on the Buffalo Rumblings Vidcast Network. It is so good to have all of you guys with us. My name is Joe Miller. I'm the co-host of this year's show. Alongside my partner in crime, as always, Jay Spence the King. Jay Spence the King, how are you tonight?
Man, I'm good. It'd be better if you could hear me, so that way the show will flow. Oh, you're good. Okay, good.
Got you
So
back.
we're good. All right.
Got you back.
Yeah. No, I'm doing good. I had quite the day. Work was hectic, as usual. But also, um, in the fantasy football world, I've been an active GM today. I traded away Josh Allen.
What?
Yeah.
Heresy.
Yeah, I did it. But then some other stuff was going on, and around the NFL, football is back, man.
That's the first thing I got on my notes. Football is back, and all is well in the Mafia household.
Yeah. And Stephon Diggs reported to camp.
Imagine that. What a surprise. Like the diva has reported to camp. But no, football is back. It's exciting. Camp, for those that aren't aware, it's Wednesday, and training camp opened today. So the Buffalo Bills all reported. So designations, Von Miller started out on PUP, which was funny because he said in his press conference he was hoping not to. And I was like, what? Clearly Nyheim Hines, non-football related injury with the jet ski thing that happened earlier this week. For those of you that did not hear, he was sitting on a jet ski in the water, still was not moving, and somebody crashed into him. So thoughts and prayers out to Nyheim Hines as it happened, 3 days before they had to report, which was just tragic news for him. Who else is on the PUP list? Tyler Medikevich with a leg injury, and then there was one other person, and I can't remember.
I believe, obviously. Von?
Well, I said Von.
Oh, you said Von. Okay.
Yeah, and then there's one more, but I can't remember off the top of my head who it was. But
I don't know.
yeah, they had a good day of practice today. I was not there. Jay Spence the King was clearly not there. I'm thinking about going Monday, possibly Monday and Tuesday. I've got tickets for Monday and Tuesday. Our guy, Joe Marino, is actually going to be in town, so I might go hook up with him. So what have you heard? Anything good coming out of camp?
No, I mean, just all the clips that everybody else has seen so far on the internet. I like, I just like the energy. It was cool to see DeMar Hamlin, return to the field in some capacity, in front of fans. That was a pretty cool thing to see. And, Josh is incredible. Like, I didn't see any of the throw. Like, I honestly didn't even read up about any of the football activities. It was just fun to see everybody get a chance to be close to the team again. I saw the clip where Josh hugged the little girl, and when I tell you I cried, I am not ashamed to admit it. I'm not ashamed. I cried. So, yeah, I love that dude, man. Like, I don't know how anybody can dislike Josh Allen. I don't get it.
So it's funny because a couple of things about what you just said. I'll start with the Josh Allen first. Josh Allen. Did I text it to you when I said I'm not going to lie? As a father of two daughters, one of which is obsessed with Josh Allen, like it made me a little misty. Her reaction, like literally same thing. I was like, oh no, like I could picture that being McKenna, and she's been in love with Josh Allen. The first year that we went to training camp may have been 2018 or maybe 2019. It might have been 2019. So and she was like throwing death darts out of her eyes at Brittany Williams for being at practice, and I'm like, McKenna. Relax. And she was young back then. And then on the DeMar Hamlin thing, I said to Beth, it's crazy. DeMar Hamlin actually took the field as a full participant at practice. And she's like, wow, that's amazing. I was like, I'm a little afraid for him. And she's like, why? I'm like, because what he went through is not normal. And then to just run. And it's funny because you and I talked when the whole thing happened, and all the speculation about him recovering and blah, 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 blah. And I don't remember if it was you or me, but one of us said, just wait and see him return to the football field, and actually play again.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what a day that'll be. So you and I kind of were not out in front or prophetic, but you and I were actually having those conversations right after it happened. Wouldn't it be amazing if he recovered? So yeah, those are my two brief, quick takeaways from anything that I saw today on social media regarding training camp. Pretty amazing.
Let me ask you this. I got two questions, but first, I will start since you're on Hamlin. Let's start with the Hamlin one that I have.
Yeah.
So he made his return today. Everybody is excited about that. We're all, but what type of activity does he have to have this season? I feel like it's almost like the comeback player of the year is his to take, right? Like it's in his hands, and it's basically like Just show up this year and you got it.
He pulled his best Jesus Christ, right? Like he rose from the dead.
But with that being the case, my question is, it's like, look, Micah's back. We re-signed Jordan. We signed Taylor Rapp. I'm hearing that Saran is being kind of mixed into like some safety work, some linebacker work. We still hear about Cam Lewis actually spending some time, doing some. So what I'm saying is they have depth now in the secondary.
Yeah.
How much will he win the award if he barely, like if he doesn't have like a prominent role, does he still win that award?
I think, well, this is a tough conversation because I don't think he wins the award if he does not play the amount of snaps that he played or close to it next year or from last year. And the problem with that is that means that somebody's in doubt or in jeopardy, right? As far as this season. So there's an aspect of like, I'd love for it to be a gimme. I'd love for it to be a first ballot automatic. It's that guy right there. However, if he goes the season is scratched 6 times as a healthy scratch because Micah and Jordan are healthy, and they want to go with Saran Neal, a bigger safety or somebody like that, or Taylor Rapp, yada yada yada. I'd say I don't think it's a gimme, and I think he's potentially the first or second off the bench. But I also don't want to see Jordan Poyer or Micah Hyde hurt this season. Like what Micah almost had his career ended last year. So let's not let's be good with Micah. And then Jordan, I mean, played through some of the worst injuries. I mean, the dude freaking drove or hired a car and drove to Kansas City last year and then drove home because they wouldn't clear him to be on an airplane. Right. So to answer, I don't know that I can answer the question. I don't think it's automatic. I think he's got to play.
I mean, I do too, and I guess that's kind of now where my concern is coming when we're talking. Like, not concern; it's an award that whatever. But like, at first talk or first conversation about it, it's like, oh yeah, if DeMar comes back to play, he automatically gets it. But then, like when you really look at it, and I get yelled at sometimes by Bills Mafia because I say stuff I shouldn't say. But one of the things that I did mention was like last season. Before the injury, nobody in Buffalo was really like, okay, yeah, we're set because we got DeMar Hamlin. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm not saying this to diss him, but I'm saying like nobody was saying like, yo, we got all pro Poe and then we got Pro Bowl Hamlin or whatever. I don't know, but we didn't look at him that way. So again, I guess what I'm saying is like, comeback player of the year. Yeah, he comes back, he should, but how much he has to win those snaps. And right now we have depth at that safety position. I just feel like you actually have to put up some type of stats in order to get that award. So
Daryl Fletcher puts in there, or not Daryl, Renaissance Man. No, it wasn't. Oh, no, I'm sorry. It was Ralph Wilson Sr. Sorry. I have a very small screen that I'm working off of here, not my normal studio, like widescreen stuff, that Hyde could possibly win it. And not only Hyde, if the Buffalo Bills win the Super Bowl, Micah Hyde could win it. Von Miller could win it. Like if the Buffalo Bills win the Super Bowl and Von Miller is the guy that they brought in to be in the playoffs and win them a Super Bowl, and he gets 2 sacks or 3 sacks in the Super Bowl, Von Miller could win the comeback player of the year if you think about it. So I think there's a lot.
Give the award out before the Super Bowl.
Oh, gotcha. Well, even leading up to it, I guess is my point. Right? Yeah, right. It's the week before the Super Bowl that they actually do that. But leading up to it, as far as that goes, like if he's that guy, they probably have voted before the playoffs as well. So I guess we'll see. The jury, for lack of a better way of saying it, the jury is potentially out. What was your other question?
Well, and then the other one, wait a minute, what were we talking about? Okay, it was DeMar, and then what was the first topic that we were on? It'll come back to me. Just go ahead and move on.
It wasn't PUP. It wasn't PUP. It was it Josh Allen? Yes, Josh Allen, and it was Josh Allen and you getting misty-eyed over.
No, it was flowing in the conversation, but it's okay. It'll come back to me when because my mind is on 15 different. I'm looking at comments, then listening to you, and so just okay. It's all right. We'll get to it.
No worries. But it is good to have football back. How good was it to have press conferences? If for those of you that did not get into the press conferences today, and if today is Thursday for you listening to this in podcast form, please go back and listen to them. Stephon Diggs was amazing. I've got a clip from Stephon Diggs today. Coach was good. I was surprised. Did you pick up on the narrative? It came from at least three of the interviews, if not 4. I know this is the time of year, talking to the media, that you guys speculate and try to put pieces in place. But the worst thing you could do right now is start penciling guys in at certain positions. Right now, we're just trying to figure out who's going to play and who can play and who has the system down. Did you pick up on that? That like Mitch Moore said it, Coach said it. I think Josh said it. Like there was like 3 or 4 different people that said, don't read too much into what you're watching right now. Right now, we're just putting guys out there and challenging them. How well do you know the system?
And you know what? I think it's smart for them to kind of throw that out there and try to – they're going to try to control whatever narrative comes out of Buffalo training camp. And I think that's smart. Now, sometimes I think it could be a bit much, but with this situation, the way the offseason has gone so far with all the Steph drama, with just all the attention on the locker room in Buffalo, I think it's smart for them this year to get out ahead of any type of whatever comes out of the media. We want to control what you guys talk about. So I think that's smart.
Yeah, I do too. 100%. It was just weird to continually. It rang the just trying to be the best version of myself bell for me because everybody says it. It's like, okay, we get it. Don't pencil anybody in, because I'll be honest with you, last year I was penciling some guys in that aren't on this football team anymore. Regardless of that, but it is good to have football back. It's good. I think every training camp is now in session, if I'm not mistaken. And the Jets, Hard Knocks, were one of the things that showed up on Twitter today. Just talking about iron sharpens iron in Sauce and Gardner against each other, playing each other man up. And they were very gracious to each other in that clip. What do you make of that duo? What do you find a situation where they're like, is Stephon Diggs making a corner better on this team? Is Devontae Adams making a corner better on the Raiders? Like, do you buy into that hype?
I do. I don't know how much, but so I think Diggs absolutely made Trey White better before his ACL tear. I would like to see maybe Steph take some initiative. And maybe he does. So I'm not saying it's like I know, but I would like to see Steph take some initiative. Go and work with Khair. You know, I know that, you know, he was drafted in the first round. We think he has all of the things necessary to be a very good cornerback. So work with him. And I feel like practicing against somebody as good as Stephon Diggs, when you get out there and you line up against, I don't know, who does the Patriots, Juju Smith-Schuster, who is a solid receiver, but he's not. Well, no, I mean, he's solid, but he's not Steph. You know what I mean?
You said that better than I thought you were gonna. I thought you were gonna give me the Juju Smith-Schuster in the Kelvin Benjamin voice.
No, I like Juju. I think Juju's actually. I wanted Juju in Buffalo. I wanted him as our third receiver. You know, before the D-Hop saga started happening, I knew he was going to be a free agent. I wanted it to be Diggs, you know, Juju, and at least that's how I felt it could have worked. I think Juju's a good receiver, but I think he needs a team around him to be his full potential. We saw him in Pittsburgh with Big Ben and AB. So I don't know, but I do think Steph makes people better if that's the case, because then you go and line up against somebody like Juju, and it's like, oh, this guy don't run routes like Steph. Oh, this is light work, you know. And so it's like playing Madden on all Madden, and then you go back and play it on Rookie, and it's like, oh, okay.
My takeaway from the video that we saw on Twitter today regarding Hard Knocks and those two lines, and that's going to be a fun episode or fun whatever to watch as far as series goes, was the amount of hands that Sauce had on what's his name? The other Gardner. What's the wide receiver's name? Or Garrett, Myles Garrett, right? What's the wide receiver for the Jets?
Myles Garrett is a defensive.
Yeah.
Oh, you're talking about wasn't it? I know who you're talking about. Keep talking.
It'll be in the comments. But regardless, my only takeaway was like, boy, Sauce has a lot of hands on him.
Why am I don't like when we have these brain farts.
Garrett Wilson.
Yes, Garrett Wilson. I'm not even looking at our screen. I just pulled it up on Twitter. So I'm not.
Yeah.
Thanks, Daryl. Thanks, Sarah.
But I was just like, Sauce has an awful lot of hands on him. Like, I don't think, and there's a ref standing right there. I was like, that's not legal. Like, that's illegal contact. That's defensive holding. And Garrett Wilson was like, hey man, great D. And I was like, maybe we'll see.
No, I feel like a lot of stuff that us as Bills fans and other fans want to say is holding and interference. I don't think that it is. I looked at that play and the one from last week that Sauce was covering somebody and everybody was saying it was interference. I thought it was a perfectly legal play. I think Sauce is a very good cornerback, and I think a lot of times, obviously, he's not on our team, so we're like, that's pass interference. It don't get caught, man. It's legal. And there's some amount of hand fighting that's legal.
Well, it's not hand checking. It's where your hands are placed. So there was the one in the video where his hand was on his rib pads, like up underneath his shoulder pads, which is illegal contact. Hand checking is hand checking. Sauce got away a lot with having a hand on a receiver going down the field, and that's not legal in the NFL. We also know that certain players with certain names get and don't have calls made against them based on the name on the back of their jersey. And as much as Sauce is good, and he was just a rookie last year, I think there was a lot of things that went his way. I'm just going to say it that way. You
think Sauce came into the league with that pull?
Yes, 100%.
Wow.
If he didn't have it when he came in by week 4, he did.
I think the kid is a phenomenal cornerback. Like
I
had Bills Mafia. Actually, I remember one week I actually got dragged by Bills Mafia because I complimented him on Twitter. Like, I told him straight out on Twitter. I was like, "Yo, man, I think you're gonna be Defensive Player of the Year." All these Bills fans, really? You don't have to sweat him. You don't have to kiss his ass. No, I think the kid is phenomenal. I think he's a top 4 cornerback in the league right now.
I think he's phenomenal and very good, but he's handsy.
I can agree that he's handsy, but I think
he's handsy.
He's handsy in a legal way. He's not, he's not molesting these receivers. He's doing the right thing by them. He's respectful.
The rule book says that the corner cannot put his hands on the receiver at all going down the field.
Well, okay.
That's what the rules say.
Talk to Trey about it. Every game, it's not just Sauce. And I don't even know why I'm taking up for Sauce. This guy's a Jet. But the thing is, it's like, he's good, man. Like, yeah. Sauce is really good. I don't see illegal contact and pass interference as much as other people do. Last season, Sarah, oh my God, dude, Sarah hates Sauce. Maybe hate's a strong word. I think she likes Sauce.
Hate is a strong word.
Yeah, yeah. No, I think she likes Sauce, but man, every chance she gets, he's freaking holding, he's pass interference. She goes in about him. So I mean, I get it. A lot of Bills fans have that take.
We'll have to have a Sauce recap every week on this show where we just go through the Sauce plays to see what got called.
Like, was this holding? Pull the R22 just for that.
Not holding. Illegal contact is
illegal contact, holding, pass interference, any of them. Yeah. We can go through his reps
all of the
and
above.
Figure it out. Yeah,
that's funny. Did you see the Aaron Rodgers news?
I did.
Dude. Like,
what do you think about that? Because it's interesting to me, because to me, I feel like if he would have been willing to do that in Green Bay, they would have been by far happy to continue their relationship.
I think Annie Agar is losing her mind, and I think it's rightfully so. So, I mean, she's got a post out there right now on Instagram, to your point, just about the fact that Aaron Rodgers walks into New York, New Jersey, is owed $110 million guaranteed contract that they inherited from the Green Bay Packers with the trade. And he, not immediately, but he's been there for 10 minutes, almost immediately renegotiates his contract and basically walks away from $35 million, dropping his number to $75 million over 2 years. I'm sure there's incentives in there to win the Super Bowl, so maybe he can get back to 110, but still the leverage that gets them to go out and do something else, like get a brother of a running back on the Buffalo Bills. Yes, to your point. Would things have been different in Green Bay if Aaron was willing to do that? Yes. That's my answer.
It's just crazy. And then you start to think, like, okay, well, was it really that he didn't want to be there? Or was it, like, what really is it? And to me, right now, I see a completely different Aaron Rodgers than I did last year. Like, he's energetic, he's happy, he's joking with the
engaged.
Last year he was really short and sarcastic with the media. This year he's talking about his favorite rappers, like he likes Tupac and E40. All the he's talking about the West Coast rappers more than the East Coast rappers, and it's like it's just a level of freedom that I don't feel like we've seen out of Aaron Rodgers like this. Besides when he's on the Pat McAfee show, and I don't understand. Obviously, it's New York and one is Green Bay, but I'm saying, like, I don't understand, like, as this professional as he is, this vet, this leader, this all of the stuff that he's supposed to be this year that they're broadcasting him to be. Why was he not like this with the rookies last year? I don't know if you remember, but he didn't even really want to do too much in training camp last year with the rookies.
Right.
Then he was frustrated with the rookies when the season started. He didn't want to throw to the rookies when the season started. Then he eventually built a relationship with Watson. Like something is off, bro. Something is off.
I think it's just new kid in town type of a scenario. I think year 2 he'll look different, and if he was going to be there for 6 years, year 6 he'd look way different. I think he'd look more like Aaron Rodgers. kind of the entitled little brat, right? Entitled little spoiled, which is what a lot of people talked about him when he came into the league, right? Is he was kind of an entitled little brat as far as that goes. So he's trying to make an impression. He's trying to do the right thing, which is good on him. But doing the right thing, Stephon Diggs, doing the right thing isn't about doing it the first year you're here. Doing the right thing is like, I've been in the league for 9 years and I always go hard and I always train, and grind is the first thing I do in the morning, and that's never going to change, right? That's where doing the right thing comes into play. So
yeah.
J-Dub
says the Jets have gone and gotten all the free agents he asked for. Green Bay sent his wide receiver one packing.
Over money. Although I guess Devontae Adams took a pay cut to go to Green Bay, or to go to the Raiders as well, right?
And I also think Devontae Adams wanted to go. I don't think Green Bay sent Devontae Adams packing. I think Devontae Adams packed his bags and said, "I'm leaving." It's different. Like, Green Bay wanted to keep Devontae Adams. I don't know if everybody really remembers all of this. I remember it specifically because my guy Jesse, who I have on Code of Conduct often at times during the season, he's a Green Bay fan through and through, and I can't tell you how many times we've argued about it. And same thing with Rick. They both will continually, they corrected me. He wanted to leave. He didn't take a pay cut. He got more money.
Yeah. It was Andy Agar that said that as well, that he took a pay cut to go to the Raiders.
No, he Devontae said they took care of Devontae.
Oh, I'm not saying he's not set. He's clearly set. But yeah, it's an interesting conversation, the money thing. Yeah, we'll see. Rodgers feels Green Bay is too small for his ego. I don't think that's it. He's been there for too long for that. He understands the small fan base, just like Vaughn does now, just like Steph does. I mean, Steph was asked today if he still wanted to retire Bill, and he said yes. Sarah Larson asks, didn't he get his $37 million up front? That's not part of your guaranteed money necessarily. That's a signing bonus. So the guaranteed money he's walking away from is what's guaranteed to him over the next 2 years. So that 110 was what was guaranteed to him over the next 2 years, which he dropped to 75, which is crazy if you ask me.
Yep. And so, just for the record, I agree with J-Dub. I just wanted to throw that out there. Like, J-Dub is right. He wanted to leave Green Bay. Yeah, he was just, and Green Bay was done with him too. They wanted to divorce. You know what I mean? Like, Green Bay was tired. And wouldn't you be? Like, you just dealt with this. So you dealt with this with your last wife. Now you deal with this wife. It's like, man, I don't even want to be married no more. You know what I mean? Like, the first wife, because look, think about it. Brett Favre retired, unretired, decided he wanted to play. Then he went to New York. Then he went back to Minnesota. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, now the guy you got after Brett Favre. Okay, Aaron Rodgers. What do he wants to do? Do I think I want to retire? I don't want to retire. Oh, I want to be traded. I don't want to get traded. Every summer for the last 5 years, Aaron Rodgers kept them basically by the balls until training camp. I think I'm gonna retire. No, don't retire. You can start Jordan Love. No, it's me. Make up your damn mind, bro. So at this point, it's just like, I don't blame Green Bay. I got friends who are Green Bay fans, and they were ready to move on from Aaron Rodgers. And it's like, I just could never imagine saying I'm ready to move on from a Hall of Fame quarterback. But I get it. Make up your damn mind, dude. What are you doing?
That's funny.
I hope he's happy.
Speaking of making up your damn mind, there's a lot of people out there making up their minds in regards to just I'm not gonna be able to show it either. How do I do you have that screen? You probably don't have the screen. So Jason McIntyre was on the Colin Cowherd show.
I can
and he went through, let me know when you've got it up, because I've navigated to another screen. He went through in his mind, because he's made up his mind. And who knows how much influence Colin has, right, in this content, in this product, in whatever it is that, he's presenting at this point. But he made up his mind on who the top 10 best quarterback and head coach duos are in the NFL. Should I just go down the list? Oh, you've got it up. Good. Should I just go down the list, or I can barely see it?
I closed it. My bad. Let me
no worries. I'll go down the list instead of telling you where Josh and Coach McDermott ended up. Should I just go down the list? Yes, I'll go down the list. Yeah. So at number 10, the Browns, Deshaun Watson, and I want to say Kitchens. It's not Kitchens. Who's their head coach? You to draw a blank on me too?
He should get fired. I don't know. Was it Kevin Stefanski?
Yes, I think that's it. Number 10, the Cleveland Browns. He should get fired. That's so funny. Well, he might this year if Deshaun Watson looks like hot trash like he did last season. Number 9, the Jacksonville Jaguars with Doug Peterson and Trevor Lawrence. I don't know that I've got a problem with number 9 being on this list. So let's just encompass the list, right? So I don't know that I've got a problem with who's on the list at number 9. I probably have a problem with Stefanski and Deshaun Watson being on this list at all. Do you have a problem with them being on it, or do you think they're in the top 10?
I think I mean, we'll see this year, but I think Deshaun is going to be a lot better than he was last year. I mean, he sat out for a full year. He didn't have really, I mean, he played a couple games in the preseason, but he really didn't get reps. He really, right. So I think Deshaun is going to be, I mean, unfortunately, I want that guy to fail as much as possible, but I think he's going to be all right.
Somehow at number 8, do you still have it up on the screen? Somehow at number 8, for those of you that can't see it at home, is the Bengals. And by somehow, I mean, how are they at number 8? I mean, the Bengals,
they're a lot higher.
Right? I mean, they've got to be in the top 3, right? I mean, as much as I thought Zach Taylor, after his rookie season as a head coach, was going to be hot garbage and get fired by his second season, like, he has shown up, for lack of a better way of saying it. Like, that dude is kind of proving that he is a good head coach. And then it's hard to argue with Burrow. Number 7, the Los Angeles Rams with Stafford and McVay. Still deserving to be in the top 10 best duos. Do they belong in the top 10? Maybe number 10? What do you think?
I would say so. Just, I mean, last year, with Stafford's injuries and the way the team was, the two of them together, I still put them pretty high. I think when he's healthy and I think they're fine.
Number 6, Tua, and I'm not even going to mention his name, the head coach of the Miami Dolphins.
I think they're a top 10 duo. I do not have them above.
Really?
I do.
Do you think so? He came in at what, 82, Tua, 82 or 81?
Best I think that list is ridiculous. That list is ridiculous, bro.
How is he in the top 100 at all?
Tua?
Yes. I mean, when you look at the way that he was dismantled in certain games last year, and when you look at the injuries that he had, I don't know how he's a top 100 player.
Joe.
Give it to me.
Don't let your Bills fandom cloud your judgment, man. Like, let's be honest. We got to be honest still.
When you look at what the Niners did to him and the Chargers did to him, you think he's a top 100 player in the NFL?
Yeah, people have bad games. I can talk about bad games that Josh has had too.
Those are 2 games in a row, and the only game that compares to those 2 for Tua would be the Bengals playoff game. The Bengals playoff game. All right, you think Tua is worthy of being on that list? I do not at this point. Anyways, he might after this year, but I don't think he's worthy of being on that list right now for last year.
That's
number 5. Number 5, the Vikings. Good old Kirk Cousins. That's a conversation that goes back and forth with you and me a million years ago when we first started this show. Worthy of number 5?
No, I don't.
Not at all.
If I would probably have them closer to 9.
Number 4, the Eagles.
Closer to 10.
Really? See, I think 4 to 5 is appropriately placed for them.
I don't. I think I don't believe in Jalen Hurts like everybody else does.
I think he's capable of running that system effectively and well to the point of being a great quarterback, if that makes sense. Like, I'm not saying that he is going to sit in Josh McDaniels' offense and play quarterback the way that Tom Brady played quarterback. Now, keep in mind as well that I believe that the Eagles' offense and the Bills' offense are very similar. So, like, I think he's running Josh's offense, the Dable offense, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. I think Jalen Hurts is very good, but I think he's a very good fit for that offense, that's why that duo piece for me, like for those 2 to be together, I think there's maybe not 4 or 5 for me.
Last night on the Chop Up, I debated with Jeremy and Sterling about this, and I was not this exact conversation in this list, but I was talking about how, I think Jalen Hurts, I think he's going to be a phenomenal quarterback, but right now the praise that he's getting and the love fest that they have for him, I don't think he's really earned the top 5 quarterback in the league discussion yet. And if you look at the roster that they have a phenomenal, you put,
yeah.
And the conversation last night was you put Tyrod Taylor on that team and they're still a very good team. Do they make a Super Bowl? Probably not. But Tyrod Taylor's statistics with the same, like through 45 games, they closely mirror his stats.
That's a good argument.
So I pulled that up yesterday, or we talked about it on the show. I didn't pull that up. I can bring it up right now and show you. It's like, and I'll bring that back up when you're ready to share that again. But I get it. Like, in one regard, we talk about these guys and we're like, yeah, he's this, he's that. But I just don't think these guys are, we jump too quickly to award somebody all of this stuff. So look at this. 45 games for Jalen, 44 for Tyrod.
Yep.
The record, Jalen Hurts won one more game than Tyrod. Okay. Completion percentage, Tyrod wins by 0.3%. Pass yards, Tyrod has him beat by almost 1,000 yards. Yards per, or average yards per game, right? Pass yards, or no, average per play. That's per play. Jalen got him beat by 0.6 yards. Pass yards per game, Tyrod got him. Pass touchdowns, Tyrod got him. Interceptions, Tyrod has less. Passer rating, Tyrod got. So what I'm saying is, now I understand that Tyrod is not the guy. He's not a franchise guy, and I know that Jalen is going to grow more to be the guy. But this is Jalen's career so far. Right. This isn't Jalen like being that dude. This is Jalen right now. So for me, it's like, why Tyrod Taylor got ran out of Buffalo for these numbers? We said that he was too safe for these numbers. And now I was one of them. And now Jalen Hurts is going to be top 5 quarterback in the league, putting up the same shit that Tyrod. Miss me, man. Miss me. So no, I don't put him top 5. I don't.
Gotcha. Perfect. That's a solid take and a solid argument. Number 3, rolling in at number 3, the Purple People Eaters, and I don't mean the Vikings; they've already been mentioned. So the other Purple People Eaters, in Harbaugh and Lamar Jackson. I don't know, man. To me, this duo after the last couple of years is sitting around 7 or 8 for me. Number 3, you see number 3?
I say number 3.
Really?
Yeah, he got injured last year. That's all the way. If he wasn't injured, man. And if we're gonna use injuries to rank, then yeah, we could drop him down a bit. But when he's healthy, that team is scary. And it's like, I don't. Well, 3 might be high. I might say as a duo, maybe closer to 6. Maybe 3's a little high.
He's scary. Harbaugh and him together aren't necessarily scary.
Well, I think Harbaugh is an amazing coach. So I think he puts Lamar in a position to be the best. Like, even going to get the offensive coordinator they had was to make sure Lamar was the best version of himself. Now I think they're going to do a little more, passing and all that stuff, so he's not injured as much, which is good. But no, I think, like I said, 3 might be too high. We can give him 6.
And number 2, and I'm just going to go there because I know who you're thinking already, right? It's our boy. It's our guy. Nope, not according to this list. Sean Payton and Russell Wilson, 2 guys that have never worked together ever before. Yes, one is a coaching genius that inherited Drew Brees. I said it that way. I did. And the other one is Russell Wilson, who has struggled to make, or to earn his first MVP, even when he has potentially had been deserving of it. Mm-hmm. Number 2, Peyton, Russell Wilson, Spence. I know you didn't create this list, but talk me into this. How is it?
I have no words. I have no words. The last time we saw Sean Payton, what was his record? And
they didn't make the playoffs.
They didn't. And he left them with a horrible salary situation, in a shell of the team that they once were. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I have no idea. But again, I understand that this is the time of year where these guys. Well, Colin Cowherd wasn't the one that did it, but these guys are just looking for, they want people to talk. So,
and then obviously the only spot we have left, the number 1 spot, goes to the duo that you would expect it to be, Andrew Reid and Pat Mahomes, which basically nobody's going to argue their place at number 1 for top quarterback and top head coach duo. However, what it brings about, getting back to what we were talking about, which is making up their mind. People have made up their minds. Josh Allen and Sean McDermott are not on this list. And I don't know if it's a matter of like he's trying to take a risk, right? I'm gonna take a risk on some of this stuff, and I'm gonna be bold in my prediction. I don't know if he's trying to get clicks. I don't know what the answer is. I just know that right now on a list of a top 10 from a show that is nationally ranked and nationally rated, granted, fill and host, and again, we don't know how much I promise you, Colin Cowherd doesn't leave that show on vacation or a day and doesn't know what they're talking about. He greenlights everything they're talking about.
Yeah.
Josh Allen and Sean McDermott were left off a top 10. They're not even left off a top 10 list for best quarterback and head coach duo. Here is what I pose to you. Sean McDermott just signed a contract extension, which most of the media pretty much lauded. Some Bills fans did not. Most of the media talked about it. However, Josh Allen, you will not be able to find anybody that's not a rival AFC East fan deny that Josh Allen is a top 3 quarterback in the NFL, possibly top 2. Some people believe maybe top 1, right? Mm-hmm. You can't argue it. Every news person, media person, sports journalist, you name it, Josh Allen, top 3 quarterback in the NFL, possibly top 3 athlete, right? Overall in the NFL. Meanwhile, the person that he's stitched to in this poll and polls like this and minds that are being made up is Sean McDermott. Sean McDermott ranks so low that Josh Allen by default doesn't find the top 10. Is that literally like, I don't understand how you could have a quarterback ranked that heavily. That Burrow is in the same spot. I mean, Burrow it's 1, 2, 3, Mahomes, Allen, Burrow, right? Burrow at number 8.
Well, I think that's because of coaching. I don't think. Are you ready to say Zach is?
I agree. I agree with you. It's because of coaching. Like, how does McDermott everybody wants to heap praise on it being McDermott's defensive system, at the same time being upset or concerned about him running his own defensive system. Regardless of that, you look at McDermott's defensive rankings outside of potentially last year, which weren't still necessarily like worst in the league. How does McDermott drag Allen so low that he's not even in somebody's consideration for top 10? That's the question.
That's a good question. I think for me, it just comes down to the fact, and I hate to say this because I feel like it's an excuse that Bills fans now we tend to use when we really just don't have an answer. But I really think this is the case in the situation. Mm-hmm. I just think Buffalo isn't the sexy big market. Like, it doesn't get Josh Allen gets clicks and people love Stephon Diggs, sure. But still, Buffalo overall, it's not sexy to talk about Buffalo. Right. We have to be winning, and we have to be winning really, really big and in good ways for us to get the attention. And then when we lose, then okay, it all comes crashing down. Josh Allen couldn't be a top 3 quarterback because he still can't get past Patrick Mahomes. He can't get past the Bengals. So now, which is what we want. We want to get back to a place where we're the underdog. I think Von Miller mentioned that today, and I think we all would love that. But it's absolutely insane. It's one of the worst. That list is one of the most horrible lists. And this isn't even me being a Bills fan. You don't have to put Sean and you don't have to put them at number 1, 2, or 3. They're not in the top 10. Are you kidding me?
Right.
3 years ago, when I was on Buffalo Fanatics, I did a podcast back then saying that Sean McDermott was a top 5 coach in the NFL.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And everyone I know says Josh Allen is at least 3, just depending on who you talk to. So if Josh is 3 and Sean is 5, that averages out to a 4. So how the hell did these guys don't even show up at all in the 10? I just don't get it. I don't get it. And I like math. I do math for my job. I know how to divide and add and all that stuff.
I love that you turn towards the work keyboard.
Yeah, I got my work right here.
I do math for my job.
Math. All day I do math. That's why I be tired of y'all, because my mind I'd be tired of y'all telling me that I'm wrong. I'd be wrong.
That is amazing. And that is a true branded J. Spencer King character, and that's why we love it. Speaking of character, and this is our last topic, as we talked a little bit about just press conferences. I have pulled down one of Stephon Diggs' answers in the press conference, and I pulled it down because I felt like it was the moment where he broke character. And you see it early because, like, all these guys are somewhat coached, right, to be on camera, to be asked questions. They don't just like throw them out there. I mean, Scott Berchtold, who is unbelievably awesome as a dude, lived here in Buffalo for 20 years, as that guy, where at one point, Doug Marrone, you name a head coach, is looking at him as to whether or not they're going to answer the question. Coach gets asked the question, and they look at Scott, and Scott's either going, okay, yes, you can answer it, or no, you can't answer it. These guys get coached up even when it comes to pressers. I felt like Steph, really because of the question, broke out of character. So let's watch the clip real quick. We'll talk about this question, and then we'll talk about a couple other things in regards to Steph, and then, we'll see where the night takes us. So this is Stephon Diggs today. Maybe. Why is it not playing? Pause, go. Oh, it's not going to play. Oh, this is awesome. Yay for technical difficulties. Hang on a second. Let me get rid of this thing and see if I can pull it up again. So was there anything while I'm doing this that struck out to you necessary? Oh, this is going to pop up automatically.
Ask me your exact question. Because you're kind of going all over the place. I feel like you're trying to not ask a question, but just ask a question, please. Thank you. Yeah. All right. Thank you. Well, obviously. Well, I mean, Coach had came up and he said that he misspoke. Like, I don't know if anybody has a family here. Everybody has family issues. Everybody has family problems in the house. Like, I was here. I did have a conversation with Coach, and I like to keep things in-house. You know what I'm saying? Like, as a player in this, I've been in the league. I'm going on my 9th year right now. You know what I'm saying? I got more football behind me than I do in front of me. My main focus and my only focus is winning. Super Bowls is everybody say they won a Super Bowl, but we've had legitimate chances at this thing. Like, we've had the team, we've had the coaches, we've had everything that we needed. And as far as us not getting over the hump, I feel like it's always asked for a cause for a conversation. You know what I'm saying? And I always wanted to have a conversation. And we have an open door policy. Coach will tell you he has an open door policy. And I've had those conversations. So I try to keep a lot of things in-house. But, you know what I'm saying, it's regarding last year, obviously the way we lost was just terrible in any regard. You don't want to lose any game. But we've lost for a couple years at this point. And we've been trying to get over the hump. And obviously it calls for a lot of frustration. But all in all, like, as far as with that, I was here, but he did have a conversation. Me and him did have a conversation. It's all water under the bridge now, but I attribute it to family matters. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't like dancing around things. I don't like those kind of questions. The black and white is everybody has family matters. We had a conversation. Everything is all is well. Water under the bridge. Now we back at work, and I look at football. It's kind of hard. It's a business at the end of the day, but when you go out there and you fight tooth and nail, you put a lot of sweat equity into this thing, it starts to feel like a family. So for me, I kind of keep everything in-house, you know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, we had those conversations, everything that needed to be said was said, and we talked it out as men, everybody involved.
So there's people that think that I'm going to blast Diggs. When I say that he came out of character, I mean that in a positive way. To me, that was the real Stephon Diggs. And I think you can associate and translate everything that happened at OTAs based on that. And the note that I took was, I got the feeling from his response, right? We were close. We've been close in the past, and we fell short again. He had that problem in Minnesota. If you listen to his whole presser, we were close. We had a great team, good team, or great team, subpar, good team, subpar, whatever he said, or average, yada, yada. So he's been close. And I feel like when I translated what he was saying, and this is just me, he walked into McDermott's office, open door policy, and said, we've been close. What is going to be different this year, right? So 2023, that's going to result in us winning the Super Bowl or winning the championship. So I think he went in, and I'm not saying he questioned McDermott, but I think he walked in and was like, open door policy. I've been close before. What's changing? What is different this year? Make me buy in, make me believe, make me whatever you want to say. And I'm not necessarily sure that McDermott, we've all got ego, we've all got pride, maybe liked the initial conversation much, right? Which then turns into family talk. Family talk turns into, you know what, we're not going to get this resolved today. There was probably somebody in the room. Cooler heads will prevail. Steph, why don't you go ahead and go home? Come back tomorrow. Cooler heads. We'll talk about it then. But to me, it sounded to me like Steph was in that office just saying, what's going to be different this year? Because we've done this close thing.
Yeah.
What's different?
I agree. I mean, I feel like I think that's part of it. You know, I think that obviously the stuff that they're trying to say was overblown between he and Josh. I don't think that it was overblown. I really think that there was a disagreement or miscommunication. Those guys, from what I hear from sources who I trust, they didn't speak much over the offseason as much as they normally have since they've been teammates. And there's some other things that I can speak on that I have direct knowledge of that I won't. But just know Stephon Diggs had a charity event, and also there was something that came out of there that made it known that there was clearly an issue between Steph and Josh, and not an issue like Steph didn't want to be on the team, not an issue like he didn't want Josh as a quarterback, but more so about communication and moving forward about how they are going to fix it. So I agree with what Joe said, but then I also still think, and this isn't being overblown, I'm not trying to make a new thing to talk about, but I just think it's both sides. It's hey coach, what are you going to do now to change it, because we're close and we should be winning. And then also Josh, what the hell, man? So I think it's the combination of both, and it just blew up to be a big deal. And I think that's why Josh, when you go back and listen to the presser that he gave when all of this first went down, I think that's why Josh took so much accountability for it, because it actually it didn't sound like regular quarterback talk when he's like, oh, no, I'm the leader of the team, so this is on me. It wasn't that. He specifically said, no, I mean, there's some things that I can do better when it comes to Steph that, you know, will make this work. But he's specific. Like, so I just need y'all to understand when the team, y'all got, and you watch him a lot the way that we do, you start to see, like Joe said at the top of this, when he was talking about how this is a time that Steph stepped outside of his comfort. This wasn't presser Steph. This was Stephon Diggs. Like, we got to see and hear Stephon Diggs. And I think that other time we got to see and hear Joshua Patrick Allen. So, I forgot to say this. By the way, everybody, tonight, Line the Game is canceled. Jerry and Sarah will not be following us. So enjoy the weather. I hear it's hot and it was raining and all that stuff in Buffalo. So enjoy it.
Not where I am.
You're not 80, in Buffalo. Yeah,
an hour south. It was 85, no rain. Beautiful on a lake. Yeah. Getting back to the Steph thing. So as it pertains to that question, somebody put in there that, that's it. Renaissance Man said he wanted some assurances. I feel like Steph has the right to ask what's going to be different this year. We've tried this already. What is going to be different? And I also feel at the same time that McDermott had the right to maybe be a little upset, because he's the guy in charge. And there's a way that you come at me, right? There's a way to have this communication. There's a way that we dialogue together, family or not. And normally, let's be honest, when we're family, we don't communicate well. We tend to communicate semi-poorly. When I was having trouble.
Shout out to Tracy. She says she's late. I feel like she's trying to take over for Pam this season. So, like, is Pam going to be on time and then Tracy's going to be late every show? Like, is that what's about to happen?
That's hysterical. When I was having trouble with the video, I was going to ask you, was there anything that I have one thing. Was there anything that stood out to you in his presser? The presser was amazing. It was a great, like, everybody's, A+, everybody's giving it to him. Was there anything else that stuck out to you in his press conference?
I think for me, the biggest thing that stuck out is that at least for me, I feel like he wants to be in Buffalo.
Oh, like, I think he said that.
Well, no, but I mean, you know how sometimes people say things and it's like, are they saying that to be, to smooth things over for the media, or is it what he feel? I truly believe him when he says, no, 100%, sir, I want to be here. When Sal asked that question, he was 100% sure that he wanted to be in Buffalo. And
retire a Bill. Yeah. He was asked that twice, and he said twice, I want to retire a Buffalo Bill. Yeah, for sure.
So I'm with it. What's your take on this?
Just as I said that, it's starting to rain.
Oh, it's not raining here. There you go. But Dan Freddy asked this. It was an opinion, so really not a question. But I just want your opinion on this, because I feel like I hear this a ton from Bills fans who feel like they're in the know as far as this part, like what happened with Britt. So it says, my honest opinion, Josh's personal life, Britt being a part of it, was affecting Josh as a quarterback or his playoff performance versus the Bengals, and Diggs was pissed. If that's the case, then I applaud Diggs. What do you think about that opinion? Because I feel like that's a common theme going around with Bills Mafia.
What that their relationship was tumultuous?
I guess just that it was affecting his play in general, not necessarily that it was tumultuous, but even just that it was affecting his play.
I mean, one thing that I'm known for is being a relatively strong individual. You know me well, confident, right? I'm not necessarily afraid of anything. Any if there's an issue in front of me, I'm going somewhere with this. If there's an issue in front of me, I'm going to tackle it. There's one person in this world that I'm afraid of, and it's my wife. So is it possible that something was going on in their relationship that was causing him issues or trouble, or something that he was doing that was causing her trouble that then caused him trouble and distraction? 100%. But if we're going to laud Stefon Diggs, great. I mean, hey, man, good job sticking up or stepping up or whatever, saying your piece as far as how you feel about Josh Allen allowing himself to be distracted by his ex-girlfriend of however long. But now he's dating an actress, and there's like conversations of marriage and wedding rings circling. So is he going to tell Josh he can't have a girlfriend at all, or he just can't have one type of girlfriend? Because I don't, how do I say this? So relatively acquainted with Britt, but I can't speak to the relationship. But for me, leaving one relationship to all of a sudden end up in one where you apparently have told people you want to put a ring on it provides a whole nother level of complication and distraction, in my opinion.
I will say that I feel like when it comes to stuff like this, it absolutely affects people. So I can agree with the thought behind it. I don't know, man. It's just it's so many rumors right now stemming from that game till now. Like, there's so many rumors.
It's ridiculous.
Insane, actually. But yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
but I'm with you. I agree with you.
Some can be, believed. Some are seeming unbelievable. There's some stories out there that I know are true, and there's some that are out there that I know are not true. But yeah, it's a weird situation. So for me, and I don't want to leave on a bad note, but we're going to leave on a bad note probably, unless you have the ability to turn it. And I believe in you, Jay Spencer King. I believe in you. Stefon Diggs said he's expecting a huge year from Gabe Davis. And then he said Gabe Davis in his mind is the number one. And I have no doubt in my mind that if I wasn't here, Gabe Davis would step in and be the guy. And it just left me with lingering thoughts of, God forbid something were to happen to Stefon Diggs and he had to miss some time. What do you expect from Gabe Davis and this entire football team?
I mean, I expect Gabe to have a big year. It's a contract year for him, but
right.
Well, maybe that's what I'm hoping. I'll say that. Maybe that's what I'm hoping. I would love to see him look like a wide receiver one. Absolutely.
Right. Yeah, me too. I just, I got to see it, right? I got to see it first. Wildly amazing as wide receiver 3 with 2 strong guys in front of him. I know he was injured. Not overly impressive as a wide receiver 2. So we'll see, right? So, and who knows, maybe Dalton Kincaid takes some of that pressure off of him.
I think Dalton, if they use him properly, I think Dalton can have a bigger year than him if they use him properly.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. For sure. So anything else as far as any of the pressers, Stefon Diggs, anything?
No, I thought his presser was amazing. I like, I watched all the pressers, and I think it was refreshing to hear the guys after some football activity, and it feels like everybody is rejuvenated. So, for me, I'm excited for the season. You know what I mean? Like, but to me, the pressers were the biggest part of the day, and DeMar running on the field.
Does anybody become more of a kid than Josh Allen on first day of camp? Like dude is just like my kids. He has been looking forward to camp check-in for months. Like, that dude just absolutely 100% loves camp, which is really, really funny. That is all I think I've got that I want to talk about for this show. Is there anything else that you would like to speak about before we get out of here?
No. I feel like it's a good show. I'm ready for some more training camp. So next Wednesday, I feel like we'll have like next Wednesday, because today we were supposed to start our offensive roster projection. So next week we'll be doing our roster projection for offense, and then the following week will be defense. So this week we kind of just kind of hit a pivot because some other stuff came up, and we were like, yeah, let's talk about that. So
yeah, and I will be at camp at least one of the 2 days next week, Monday or Tuesday, so I can kind of bring some, if I see anything or whatever, I can talk about that briefly. So
yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, you have been tuned into the Hump Day Hotline. In my opinion, a very fast Hump Day Hotline. I looked up and it was like 50 minutes past the hour. I was like, what happened? And then you made the announcement about line to gain, and I was like, oh, we're okay. But it's been good to have you guys. We are working our way back into mid-season form as the season is just right around the corner. Buffalo Bills reported to training camp today, which is awesome. Football is back and everything is good in the Mafia household. My name is Joe Miller. The voice of this show, one of the co-hosts of this here show. I jumped into overreaction mode. You can find me on Twitter at Joe Miller Wired. That over there is my co-host, Jay Spence the King. You can find him on Twitter at Jay Spence the King. But for me, for Jay Spence the King, for all of Buffalo Rumblings, go Bills.
Go Bills.